Hey everyone, I'm here with a voiceover for round number 5 of the OSKCS karting series. This is actually my first Portland Karting Association Club League race. I've done a few of the winter races this past winter, but between work and weddings and life, I have not been able to make it to one of the league races. So this is my first one, and we had a practice Saturday. Had a good time. Only ran about two and a half sessions or so. Really just wanted to shake down my kart. I have a new seat, a new NEK modular seat. I cracked a rib in my prior seat the last time I was out, and so worked with Don at CMC to get a new seat installed that's going to give me a little bit more upper body support. And man, what a difference it made. The whole weekend, I was way more comfortable, never had any rib pain. I also didn't have to brace against the steering wheel as much, and we were also able to get my legs just a little bit extra room. As a tall driver, that is always appreciated in these karts. So yeah, shook down the kart Saturday. Was feeling pretty good. Just wanted to relearn the lines for this orientation of the track, and yeah, felt pretty good. Temperatures were pretty similar, so I was able to dial in tire pressures and the carburetor tune. Got it to where I wanted, and was pretty happy with my times. So yeah, very effective Saturday for me. Alright, so this is Heat 1. This is my first standing start ever, and one thing to note here is that the LO206 seniors, which I'm racing, also race on the track with the World Formula class. So the way that they do it is the World Formula is gridded up just in front of us, and I was not aware that they needed a grid space between us. So you saw there I kind of came up close on the bumper of 96 in front of me. That's Andy. And I was expecting him to shuffle forward, but he didn't. So no worries, just pushed on my rear tires to push myself back into my grid spot. So unfortunately, there was a driver right behind me who was having some mechanical issues. I think his carburetor was leaking, but the reason we did not go green flag right there is because he gave the X symbol, and that stopped the starting procedure. He's being pulled off of the grid here. We're going to do another warm-up lap, make sure the tires are warm, and allow that driver to get off the track. So yeah, on these warm-up laps, it's really important to make sure you're getting your tires up to their operating pressure as best as you can. So you'll see me kind of flick it into a few corners just to try to get some extra heat built up. I also like to not necessarily drag the brakes, but be on the brakes a little bit here and there to make sure that those are warmed up, and I know exactly where the bite point is going to be. Alright, so we're going to grid up now, and it's going to be green flag racing once we get started. So these the four-stroke classes, so World Formula and LO206 for the OSKCS series, do standing starts, as you're seeing here. All the two-stroke classes do rolling starts. I had never done a standing start. It's a little tricky. On these four strokes, you can easily burn up your clutch if you're revving it too high with the brake on. But you also want to get some revs into the engine before we go green. Watching the flag, and there we go, green flag. I feel like I had a good reaction time, but you will see here I have basically no off-the-line acceleration. The entire field passes me by, so that's pretty frustrating. I qualified P3. I was very happy with that. There were 7 of us out there today, and off the line I lost all of it. So I'm now back at the back and have work to do. So coming through the S's here, absolutely love that section of the track. Very flowy. You can really feel the kart flex. Coming into this hard left-hander, kind of a tricky corner. The radius tightens and the braking spot is downhill. So yeah, that's one that I'm playing with the braking lines and carrying speed through, playing with that all weekend, just to try to nail that, and I feel like I got to a pretty good spot there eventually. Alright, first lap down, not able to make up any places, but just keeping with this pack. Again, this is my first, sprint kart positional racing race, so my main goal today was just to make a fool of myself and not cause any accidents. So I'm taking it a little easy here on the first opening laps, but if you're a racer, you'll know that easily will go out the wayside as soon as the green flag goes. So pretty much by now, all I'm thinking is I must pass kart 11. Alright, so we got this kind of long, lazy right-hander into the tight left-hander that's pretty much flat out on a Briggs into the front straight. You really want to nail those. It impacts your speed greatly for almost half the lap here. Down the front straight, flat through the turn 1. And then when the tires are warm and you pick your line right, you can go flat through turn 2. So kind of just seeing where I might have an opportunity to pass kart 11 here. Pretty hard to do any passes through the back S's. Really coming into this corner is the main opportunity for passing, in my opinion. Just staying on the bumper, trying to get a good exit. Very important here. It was something I felt like I did pretty good and ended up making most of my passes in those two corners. Go up the inside there on kart 11. Happy with that pass. And that corner I found to be a really good passing spot because you can, basically the racing line, you swing out wide, but because it's sort of a wide corner, it's not necessarily wide, but it's just kind of a long radius corner, you aren't hindered too much if you kind of take a narrower line and go up the inside on somebody who's taking the racing line. So just saw that gap and went for it. So one position made up. Now I'm going to try to close down the gap here to kart 69 ahead of me. So you can see I'm carrying pretty good speed through that left-hand corner. Now I'm up onto that bumper. It's pretty incredible just how much quicker everything happens, even in these 206 karts compared to the rental karts. The weight of the kart is a lot lower. Tires, grip, steering, all of that is so much better, brakes especially. And it's pretty incredible just how much grip you have going around. And because of that, it's close quarter racing. There's a lot of parity in the karts. It's pretty exciting. Really got to keep your eyes up. There we go. Going up the inside here, just sort of beating kart 69 on the brakes. I was really happy with that pass. So as you'll see in this video and the rest of the videos from this race day, my kart just did not seem to have good top end or acceleration. You can see here 83 is pulling away from me. So that made it really difficult to close down gaps and pass on the straightaways. I don't think I had a single pass the whole weekend on the straightaways. Everything was just in the corners and the brakes. Thankfully, I felt pretty confident on the brakes the whole weekend, so that worked out for me. But it would be nice if I could close down the gaps going straight, even in a slipstream. So that was a little frustrating. I played with the tune a little bit. It was hot, so I leaned it out after this race. But yeah, I think there's some definite opportunity for gains there. Alright, so now we're up on kart 83's bumper. So a factor that's going to play into this race, as well as the next heat and the final, is that not all of the world formulas were faster than us in the 206s. So kart number 1 ahead, the driver in the black and gray, he is actually in a world formula kart. So you'll see on the straights he has a lot more speed than we do. But he was a new driver, and so through the corners, a number of us in the 206 karts were actually faster. This became a little frustrating because it's extremely hard to pass a kart that's faster than yours on the straights. Even if you do lock down the pass in the corners, he just walks by you on the straights again, and then you're stuck behind him. So that's a little bit of what's happening here. Just trying to stay on car 83's bumper and trying to find a spot for me to pass. Temperatures and weather were absolutely phenomenal all weekend. It was a little warm, about mid-80s, but the mornings were just, a little bit of crisp in the air, and made for some great racing. A lot of grip out here on the track. So much so, there's actually a turn or two where I went up on two wheels. Just, here we go, going for the pass, following car 83 through. And here we go to the checkered line. Checkered flag. All right. So, able to recover from the poor start. Finished P4. Very happy with that. Again, this is my first race in my own positional club race in my own kart. Finished P4, started P3, so lost one position. Overall, I'm happy with that going into the next heat. Next heat is a reverse grid. See you there.